Alright, hello everybody. We're going to multiply polynomials in this section R.4, multiplying polynomials. And the first thing we're going to look at is multiplying two monomials together. So to multiply two monomials together, you multiply their coefficients and then add the exponents. So let's look at an example. Let's say I have something like 7x cubed and 5x squared. Okay, here this is clear multiplication. I don't see addition or subtraction or division. You multiply the coefficients, so 7 times 5 is 35. X stays the same, and then you add exponents. So 3 plus 2 is 5. You don't multiply them. Don't go multiplying crazy. Just multiply the coefficients, and you add those exponents together. So this is example 1. Another example, let's say I have minus 7x to the 4th, and I multiply that by 10x to the 5th. I'm multiplying again, monomial, one term and one term. Multiply the coefficients, that's minus 70, and then x, add those exponents to the 9. That's multiplying monomials together. Okay, the good news is if you can multiply monomials together, you can do all the rest of this. So all you have to do is remember to distribute. So here, if you want to multiply a monomial times a binomial, so this is a good example. Here's a monomial, one term. Here's a binomial, two terms. All you do is distribute. So you multiply here to here, and there. And now you're back to multiplying monomials together. So remember, if it doesn't have a coefficient, you can always stick a 1 in front. So 3 times 1 is 3, and you're always adding those exponents. This would be x to the 5th. 3 times minus 4 is minus 12. X cubed. Same thing here. You can put a 1 up here in terms of x to the first power. And the thing that should make sense to you is that when you multiply a monomial times a binomial, you're going to end up with a binomial because you're going to kind of distribute that monomial in. Okay, let's take a look at one more. Let's do minus 5x as the monomial, and the binomial is going to be minus 3x squared plus, 4. Same thing, distribute. So here to here, negative 5 times negative 3 is positive 15. X, add the exponents, it's going to be 3. And then minus 5 times 4 is minus 20x. And we got it. Okay, that's monomial times a binomial. Next up, multiplying two binomials together. Alright, a binomial times a binomial. So a two-termed polynomial times another two-termed polynomial. So this is the classic FOIL. 4 letters in the word FOIL means when you expand it all out, you're going to have 4 terms. I like to think of it as just distribution a bunch of times. So first I take this 3x, and I distribute it in. That gives me my first and my outer. So 3x times 2x is going to be 6x squared. That's this to this. Here to here, 3x times positive 5 is plus 15x. That's first, outers, inners. Minus 2 times 2x is minus 4x. And then last, minus 2 times 5 is minus 10. And always, after you distribute, you should look for like terms. So here, nothing combines with this 6x squared, but these two are like terms. So 15x, I take away 4, gives me plus 11x minus 10. Alright, let's try another one. Alright, let's see if we can multiply these two binomials together. So 7x times 3x is 21x squared. 7x times minus 5 is minus 35x. Minus 2 times 6x is minus 2 times 3x is minus 6x. And watch those signs, minus 2 times minus 5 is going to be positive 10. Do I have any like terms here? Yep, those middle terms again. Got 2x squared minus 35x minus 6x is going to be minus 41x, and then plus 10. And in your last answer, there should never be any like terms to combine because you catch it the step before. Okay, let's try one more. Alright, let's look at this problem. Now, I know it's very, very tempting to want to do this. You see this x squared, it's very tempting to do something like this. But that's a big no. You cannot do this. You cannot distribute exponents. I know it seems like the right thing to do. It seems like you're being fair, but in a second we're going to see why it's wrong. So you cannot distribute exponents. Big, big mistake. so common it has its own name. This is called the freshman mistake. Do not make this one. You'll save yourselves a ton of points if you just don't distribute exponents. So if this isn't the right way to do it, how do we do it? Well, let's get rid of this wrong work and take a look at the correct approach. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, what does it mean to square something? It means to times it by itself. So I rewrite this as this thing times by itself. And then what do you know? We've got a binomial times a binomial, and we're going to FOIL this guy out. So 2x times 2x gives us 4x squared. And then 2x times 5 gives us plus 10x. Another one is another plus 10x. And then last is plus 25. I combine up my like terms, and I get 4x squared plus 20x plus 25. A way different answer than if you just try to distribute that exponent, which you cannot do. So be very careful about that. And in fact, this is going to be the approach for if you have any kind of exponent here. So let's take a look at another one. So let's say I want to do this. Now here I have something to the cube power. Well, I'm going to do it the same way I did with squares. There are formulas that are in the book about how the formula works. You can just write out, but I always forget those. So what I do instead is I write the thing 3 times, because that's what it means to cube something. 2x plus 3, another 2x plus 3. And then I start expanding this all out. So multiplying 3 things together, you multiply the first 2 together. So 2x times 2x is 4x squared plus 6x plus 6x plus 9. And wrap this guy all in parentheses. That's multiplying the first 2. Leave this one out here by itself. Collect up your like terms. 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. And now we haven't done one of these yet, but this is like a binomial times a polynomial. Now all you have to do is distribute. So I'm going to look at it like I'm going to take the 2x and multiply it to each one of these terms. So that equals 8x cubed plus 24x plus 18. And then I'm going to run the 3 in. So 3 to here, 3 to there, and 3 to here. So plus 12x squared plus 36x plus 27. What we do after we distribute, we always look for like terms. So nothing combines with this 8x cubed. I rewrite it. And I was not very careful. This should be squared, I think, right? Because 2x times 4x squared is 8x cubed. 2x times 12x is 24x squared, adding the 1 and 1 together. Alright, so I have some like terms here. I have a squared term and a squared term. So plus 36x squared. And then I have x terms here, squiggles and squiggles. So plus 36 plus 18 is 54x. And then I've got my constant, plus 27. And that is multiplying polynomials together. Next video will be the dreaded division.